What's up? It's Lex. Welcome to Feedback Chat. And today we have Kara Levchenko.
Hey, everybody.
Kara is an incredible artist. We've been working together for quite some time now. We actually went to college together. And it was funny. We were in the same space all the time, but we didn't really hang out. And then after college, we started working together. And it's been an awesome ride working with you. So tell the people about yourself.
Yeah, hey everybody. My name is Kara Levchenko. I'm a singer, songwriter, and producer out of DC. And yeah, I've been writing music. I've been singing music for my whole life, but I've been writing music for about the last 4 years and producing music the last year and a half or so.
Awesome. Well, let's start with the beginning. Why are you making music in the first place? What is the call? Why be a solo artist? You know, what led you to that decision, and what is leading you to make music?
Yeah, so I think in a way, writing music feels like therapy. Like when I was a kid, I would just get all my emotions out by writing random songs. And I didn't have a computer or anything. I didn't even have a phone really until I was in high school. And even then, it was like a dumb phone. It wasn't an iPhone or whatever. So I wasn't able to record my ideas. I would just write random songs, like verse, pre-chorus, chorus, full fleshed out song alone by myself. And I would write down the lyrics, but I wouldn't remember how it goes. And I would just do that all the time. Didn't know how to play any instruments. Instruments didn't really come easy to me. I tried violin and flute as a kid. And I was the kid in the back of the band class, pretending to play the violin because I didn't know how. But when I found singing, I was like, no, this makes sense. And I just knew that I wanted to study music. And I love teaching as well. So I ended up becoming a music teacher because I sort of figured performers, don't make a lot of money, or being a starving artist won't pay the bills. So for a long time, I didn't really chase that dream. And I'm still a teacher part-time, which I love doing. And it's just really awesome teaching older beginners and seeing that light go off for them when something clicks and they get it. So outside of being a teacher, when COVID hit, I was, alone in my house and wasn't, going to school as much. So I spent a lot of time trying to put my chorus students' voices together. And you actually mixed and mastered.
Yeah. That was the original contact for it.
Yeah, I think that's how we got back in touch. Was because I was like, dude, these parents are expecting fleshed out, beautiful virtual choir videos.
This is really hard.
And yeah, they were awesome to see online, but they were so hard to make. And I feel like all the music, I'm sure I wasn't the only music teacher who felt the pressure to all of a sudden learn how to use a DAW and mix and master stuff.
Yeah.
So
especially just voices.
Yeah.
The hardest thing to do. Yeah, that's
literally
crazy expectation.
Yeah, the one kid who would cough, I had 50 kids on those tracks, and one of them was making a weird sound in the video.
It's in there,
So yeah, so that's how I learned how to use Logic Pro, and I think the creating melodies and writing music was always natural to me. It just took studying music in college to become a teacher. I learned piano, learned music theory, fell in love with music theory, and a little bit of guitar. And so once I got in there with the DAW, it's over. I've just been exponentially making more stuff.
It's just a playground at that point, you have all the skills to make the music, and now you have the thing to put it all in. It's
Yeah.
So let's talk about your process a little bit. When it comes to songwriting in general, are you somebody do you hear the melody first? Do you think of lyrics first? Do you like to build the beat out first or build the instrumental out first? What's the step-by-step for you on a typical day?
Yeah, I've definitely had a couple songs arise in the same way that I first would write music, which would be the no chords because I didn't know how to play, just singing random stuff. That's actually how It Could Be You was born. I just heard that hook in my head and was like, this is a song, and wrote a verse around it, figured out what chords sounded good under it. I made Ego the same way. It was just a melody that came to me. But I think that's unusual. I think for the most part, I love having a track or a vibe to work off of, and thinking what kind of song do I want to make? What do I want it to feel like and sound like? And then kind of checking in mentally for lyrics from there. Feels really nice. But there are times where melodies just come to me and they have to become a song.
When they come to you like that, are they attached to words, or is it just a melody? Were you just humming It Could Be You, or was it It Could Be You is the words right off the bat?
I think in those cases, it is always with the words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my experience too. Anytime I'm
Really?
writing, like for some reason, it's even if it's like a ghost line or something,
Mhm.
but like it's something always sticks because I feel like there's so much attachment there, especially for singers like that. Like
Yes.
just liking to tell the story, right away is really cool. But that's awesome. So you're building stuff out on the computer now, like producing all your own music. I mean, sometimes you're working with different producers and all that, but you're producing your music and you're in Logic. What else are we using at home? Like if somebody who has never produced before, like talk to them about like what's a solid like get going setup that they could rock with, or what are you using at home that you enjoy and you like?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, I was using GarageBand before I learned how to use Logic, and although GarageBand is free if you have a Mac, I think
Yep,
Logic offers you so much more and is
absolutely.
1,000% worth it. Um, so, finding the DAW that works for you, having a great mentor to teach you about that DAW. For me, that was you, like seeing you use Logic Pro in our sessions. I was like, I already have a Mac. This really talks to me well. And so finding a DAW that flows. I have a Scarlett 2i2
We love
third
the
gen.
Scarlet. We absolutely love the Scarlet. Get you a Scarlet. It's a great one to start with.
Yeah.
It's everything that you need. It sounds clean, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And now they have the nice little air button and stuff like that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's a solid machine for sure. That's
Love the
awesome.
Scarlett. Yeah, it's small but mighty. It does so much. So I have that. I have some great headphones. I think they're like Audio Technica, like monitoring headphones.
They're probably the MX50s, probably the same stuff we
Oh,
have
yeah.
here, yeah.
They're right here.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
yep. So
Same
those
ones.
are awesome headphones, especially if you're starting out for tracking, for mixing, producing. They just kind of give you a good round sonic picture
Yeah,
of what you're listening to.
these are awesome. I have this exact mic as well.
Oh yeah.
Which one is this?
This is the 4033A, the Audio Technica 4033A.
Yeah.
It's an awesome mic. I think like when we talked about this microphone, we pulled all the mics and did
Mm-hmm.
like a mic shootout for your first record.
Yeah.
Or was it maybe it was later after the first record that we did together, but we started trying out all these different mics and, different arrangements of everything with EQ and compression, and we found that this one was great for Kara. And so you just went and bought one, right? And so that's what you use to track at home, and it sounds great, and like hey, you got what you need, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What are you doing? So you have your interface. Do you have MIDI controllers that you like to use?
Yeah, I have a couple. I think I have 3 different keyboards or 3 pianos. So they're all MIDI capable. One of them is like very large, 88 key. So that one just lives in the living room, but you could hook it up to the
Yep,
laptop
yep.
if you wanted. It has a nice feel, like realistic feel. Weighted keys. And then I have a smaller, more portable keyboard, and that one I use for gigging, but I also use mainly at home with recording because it has so many octaves, 66 key. And I have a really like small one with a drum pad, like an Akai.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
how you
yeah.
say it, like one of those
Mm-hmm.
guys. So I use that one sometimes, but honestly, the keys are so small that it feels better to play the bigger
Yeah,
keyboard.
for sure.
So I'm definitely using the MIDI
Yeah, those
controller.
little Akais, like the MPK2, is great for just like sticking in your backpack.
Yes,
Taking it
exactly.
to a coffee shop. I used to do that all the time when I was in Harrisonburg.
Yeah.
But that's cool. It's good to have different options too. If you need like a full keyboard where you can sit down and play, I'm sure that's really helpful. And then you're using like a loop station a lot at home, especially in your videos.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Kara's videos, you should go check them out on her Instagram and TikTok because she'll break down songs, which is really cool. Like just do like a live looping of like what went into the song. So it's not like the full production, but it's very cool to see you like build it out and just like I imagine this is like what songwriting is like in your head, where you're just like hearing the different pieces and slowly stacking them in. So definitely go check that out. It's a really cool experience to have to see you like build out your songs that way, which is really cool.
Thank you.
So when you are recording at home, a lot of people we're trying to encourage, record at home. It's okay. You can do it. It's great to go to a studio and you should, you know what I mean? Like going to studios is great. But if you're working on just like a song and you want to get a really good demo to send to your engineer, of this is kind of what I want, it's good to learn all this stuff. So when you're recording at home, let's talk about your setup,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you've got the 4033A and it's going straight into your Scarlett, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not doing any processing on the way in. You're just kind of rocking with set the gain and go, right? But I know that you have like setup wise, you have like a pop filter for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then you also have the diffuser that goes behind, right?
Yes, love
And
that.
so are you setting your microphone like in the corner? Are you putting it out in the middle of the room, like next to your desk? Like, where are you firing towards? Like, talk to the people a little bit about that.
Yeah, it definitely is kind of in the corner. The room's been organized lots of different
Yeah,
ways.
sure.
And I kind of move it depending on like where I need it. But right now it's just kind of in the corner, so that I can reach like my piano, my keys, my mic without having to move at all.
Yeah,
So just sit,
that's awesome.
do everything.
Yeah, and having that diffuser around, like that shield, definitely helps. And if you don't know what those things do necessarily, what that's doing is when you send signal away from you, it's going to bounce off the wall and come back to the microphone. And that will just kind of break it up. So it comes back, hits that, gets shattered out into different directions, and you get just a tighter, more clean vocal sound, especially if you're like recording in a small room that's not treated. So it's
Mm-hmm.
cool that you have one of those. Those things definitely help. They're so awesome. And like, if you're recording at home too, one of the things you can think about is trying to send your voice into a larger spot in the room. So not necessarily like buried in the corner. Now, like in my studio, my mic is directed towards the corner, right? Because I've got like sound paneling around it, so you can have
Yeah.
that space. But it's always good, like for y'all at home that are listening, if you're tapping in with us, set up your microphone so you're shooting out into the room a little bit more, and that
Mm-hmm.
way you'll have more setup. But if it's just in your setup too, right there, that's the most convenient, because as a producer you want to be able to, I have an idea, fire it up and go, not
Mm-hmm.
okay, let me set this over here.
Yeah.
So like if you're recording takes, I've seen you put it in different places in the room,
Yeah.
but it's good to just have it ready to rip like right away, which is helpful.
Totally.
And then do you have like a vocal chain that you work with? What are like some plugins that you like the sound of? Or we could talk about like producer plugins. Like, let's talk about synths, because I know you have some opinions about like what are your favorite synths and such.
There are so many good synths out there. I do feel like the Logic stock Alchemy stuff, like there's so much
You can
there.
get it done,
Mm-hmm.
but there's some amazing shit out there.
Something I do love is I use Splice a lot. I know they have a lot of samples on there, so I use those for inspiration. I try my best to, like, the more I've been comfy with producing, I'm trying to create more, like, from scratch. But I feel like what's really exciting about Splice is the presets. So people will go in and they have bought Serum, which is a synthesizer plugin. And so people will go in, they'll design their own synth sounds,
Mhm.
and then they'll load that preset up in Splice for you to download. And
That's
so
awesome.
then I can load it up into my DAW and write whatever part I want on my MIDI controller and make that into any sound.
Yeah.
And so obviously down the line, I would love to like learn how to make synth sounds, but for now, just like loading up those presets from other
Find something that you
producers.
like and go. And it's like, sure, you can twist all the knobs and make those sounds yourself, but it's nice to just be able to like grab it and go and
Yeah.
actually create without having like the crap. I'm sitting in front of this synth and I like have to get it dialed in, You can
Mm-hmm.
just kind of set it up and rock, which is awesome.
For sure.
That's great. And let's talk about, so Kara is an artist, an independent artist that is promoting your music all the time online, and uploading to all the streaming services, and following the dream, you know what I mean? Um, which is a hard road to take. It is difficult, but you're doing an incredible job. It's so cool to see like the following grow as you like build out all this music and do that. But I know that you're interested in like the syncing side of the world, which
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people don't even know about. So would you mind talking a little bit about like sync and just like the goals there and just how it works, so for the people who have no idea and haven't heard about sync before?
Yeah, for sure. The sync world is something I only recently got into, like the last year or so. I had a friend who worked at the studio and invited me and said, "You got to check it out. They do this thing called Open Gym every Wednesday." Shout out to the Vault Studio.
Let's go.
And basically they'll have like a prompt that they're working for. So it'll be like a show, TV show, or movie or whatever that's looking for like a very particular song, and say they want something like haunting, like a Billie Eilish type dark pop vibe, but they don't want to pay for a Billie Eilish song
Sure.
because it's going to have Billie Eilish prices.
Yep.
So they're looking for an independent artist to make something in that genre, in that vibe. So that's where an independent artist doing sync can be really valuable. But you need a professional level sounding track, and you need it quickly, and it needs to be
Absolutely.
specific. So getting a team of people together allows you to get that done quick before you have like a large catalog or as you're building it. So we'll get together with a producer, a writer, engineer at the studio and just kind of like make a song happen in a day. Sometimes we'll build it from scratch. Other times producers will have beats, like a beat catalog ready to go. Just depends on the day.
Yeah. And like when you mean quick turnaround, you mean quick turnaround. Like you'll get these emails that's like, we're looking for this and we need it by tomorrow at noon. And it's like,
Yes.
oh, they don't need like a rough demo. They
No.
want it to sound done.
Radio ready.
Which is like, you know, like when you're working in a studio, sometimes one song can take, sometimes it's one session, sometimes it's weeks worth of work. Like it just
Yeah.
depends on what the song needs.
Mhm.
So the fact that you're like putting it together, like I know I've gotten the late night text from you like, hey, like, can we make this happen? You know what I mean? And like, and that stuff is like, it's exciting, but it's also got to be a little draining because you're just like putting so much energy into something.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is you walk away with a song either way. You know what I mean? And then you can release it if you want and if it's worth it. And like, that's awesome. Like, especially it may be a little out of like the genre or whatever because you're writing towards something. But
Right.
yeah, syncing is a whole world that people just like don't know about. I remember like talking to people at the high school when I was teaching there and like those kids were like, wait, you can like make money off your music? And I was like, yes.
Oh,
like
yeah.
they will basically lease your song from you for a
Mhm.
certain amount of time. And usually that comes with a pretty solid paycheck, like, you know,
Yeah.
depending on the arrangement. But it is something you can do in the world and you should give it a go. Like look into it. The only problem with syncing is you can't really splice is when things get a little sketchy, right?
Yeah.
Because they don't want any of that melodic content from Splice. So
Mhm.
what's the deal? In your experience, is it okay to use drums? Like you feel pretty good about that?
Yeah, I think it's all about making sure that like the majority of the creation is yours. Like there's language around using AI as well. Like
Absolutely.
they're not wanting to purchase songs that were made by AI because it's hard to copyright something as your own when pieces of it aren't. And so that's kind of like the case with clearing samples from Splice as well. I would say it's like the melodic stuff, the song starters. I think drum samples are fine. Like just quick
Yeah,
riser
no one cares about like a
sounds.
snare drum.
Yeah.
Especially if you're programming your own like, you know,
Right.
drums. But yeah.
Right.
Well, that's awesome. I know that's like a crazy world to get into, and like we, you know, wish you luck as you dive into that more and more. That's so cool, and it's inspiring. Like I want to put other artists on to doing that kind of thing because it's a great way to like make more income as an artist. Because as an artist, I do the same thing here with like my studio and all of our setups and different things. Is, you know, when you're a musician, you're not building your life as one income source.
No.
Usually you do multiple things under music, whether that's
Yeah.
you have a studio like I do or you're performing live like you do, which you get paid for, and hopefully, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like if the venue is doing what the venue should be doing, you should be getting paid for. Lessons, teaching, all that kind
Mhm.
of stuff. It kind of, in your experience, is the same, like building out like more of a multiple
Yeah.
sources of income as a musician instead of just like the one thing, you know?
Mhm.
And then hopefully one day you'll sync all your whole library and you'll never have to do anything again and you can just play shows and live the dream, you know?
That's the goal.
We think that's in your future, Kara. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us and tapping in.
Yeah.
This was so fun to just chat about your setup and your artistry and all about that. Go check out Kara Levchenko. You can find her everywhere: Instagram, TikTok. I'm sure you have everything else under the sun on Spotify, Apple Music, all of that. There is so much good music and so much good music coming. We've been working on all kinds of stuff that is unreleased, and
Yep.
so there's a lot of cool stuff coming. Kara's going to do an episode of Live at Lex's and be here with us and do some live performance. So check Kara out, follow along for the journey, and thank you for tapping in with us. This is Feedback Chats.